Are we truly happier than our ancestors? A seemingly simple question that conceals a complex historical journey of humanity. From the early days of hunting and gathering through the arduous agricultural revolution to the modern technological era with every convenience at our fingertips, has the happiness index of Homo sapiens genuinely increased? Or are we trapped in an endless race, tirelessly searching for an elusive definition? In this video, we will turn back the pages of history, analyze scientific evidence and philosophical perspectives to answer the question that has troubled humanity for millennia. What is true happiness? And, with all our remarkable progress, are we living more fulfilling lives than prehistoric humans? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other exciting space exploration videos. If you find the video interesting and useful, please like and share to support us. Throughout human history, the concept of happiness has always been an ultimate goal, a destination that every individual and every society yearns to reach. However, looking back at the evolutionary journey of Homo sapiens, a thorny question always arises. With all the remarkable progress we have achieved, from conquering nature, building mighty empires, to creating advanced technology, are humans truly happier than their ancestors? The answer is far from simple and often challenges our conventional notions of progress. To seek an answer, we need to go back in time to the dawn of humanity, the era of hunter-gatherers. From a modern perspective, their lives might seem harsh and full of dangers: material scarcity, the constant threat of hunger and disease, and low average life expectancy. But were they less happy than us? Many anthropologists and historians, including Yuval Noah Harari in *Sapiens*, have suggested that hunter-gatherer life might not have been as bad as we imagine. Their diet was more diverse, and hunting and gathering required less time than later agricultural labor, providing more leisure for social, creative, and resting activities. They lived in small, closely knit groups with deep social bonds. A strong sense of community, mutual support, and a direct connection to nature might have provided a level of contentment and meaning that many modern people yearn for. Despite facing dangers and instability, their focus on the present, without excessive worry about a distant future, might have helped them avoid the mental pressures and anxieties we now endure. Their happiness might have stemmed from simplicity, from meeting basic needs, and from contentment with what they had. However, the picture of happiness began to darken with the advent of the agricultural revolution, approximately 12,000 years ago. Harari called this history's biggest fraud. Instead of liberating humans from the burden of subsistence, agriculture turned them into slaves of the land and crops. People worked harder, from dawn to dusk, cultivating wheat, rice, corn, crops that demanded constant care. Diets became more monotonous, relying on one or two staple crops, leading to nutritional deficiencies and declining health. The concentration of populations in agricultural settlements also facilitated the faster spread of diseases. Furthermore, agriculture led to the accumulation of wealth and the emergence of social stratification, creating inequality and new forms of oppression. Farmers, hoping for a brighter future, traded their freedom and diverse lives for a promise of food security, a promise often unfulfilled. They were trapped in a vicious cycle. The more they produced, the more mouths there were to feed, and the more they had to produce. Individual happiness seemed to have been sacrificed for the development of the species. As civilizations and empires emerged, social scales expanded, bringing more complex structures, but also new burdens. Money, laws, religion, and political systems arose to maintain order and promote large-scale cooperation. However, they also served as tools for control, oppression, and exploitation. The lives of ordinary people were bound by obligations, taxes, and wars. They had to work to feed armies, elites, and contribute to grand projects from which they might not directly benefit. Despite brilliant achievements in art, architecture, and philosophy, was a Roman farmer happier than a prehistoric hunter-gatherer? It is very difficult to say for sure. They might have enjoyed certain conveniences in cities, but also faced social injustice, the brutality of war, and the loss of individual autonomy. The concept of happiness during this period was often linked to submission to deities, the glory of the empire, or achieving a certain social status, rather than pure personal contentment. Moving into the scientific and industrial revolutions, the world witnessed unprecedented changes. Science unlocked the secrets of the universe, bringing extraordinary technologies. The Industrial Revolution completely transformed how we live, work, and interact. Life expectancy increased significantly, thanks to modern medicine and better hygiene. Large-scale famine diminished in many parts of the world. Humans were liberated from many arduous manual labor tasks. Material abundance, household conveniences, high-speed transportation, and global connectivity became realities. Looking at statistics and material indicators, it seems we are living in a peak era of prosperity and convenience. However, once again, Harari and many other thinkers have raised the question, do material wealth and convenience truly bring commensurate happiness? Modern life brings new pressures. Competitive work environments, anonymity in large cities, and disconnection from nature and traditional communities have created new forms of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. The development of consumerism drives us to constantly shop, acquire new things with a vague belief that they will bring eternal joy. But that joy is often fleeting, a temporary dopamine effect, and then we continue to search for the next thing. This cycle is called the hedonic treadmill. We run constantly just to stay in the same place, and our level of happiness seems to return to a personal set point after every joyful or sorrowful event. In the information age and social media, the pressure to appear happy is greater than ever. We constantly compare our lives to carefully curated, perfectly painted images on social media, leading to feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction. Illusory connections through screens can replace real social interactions, weakening deep relationships and the sense of belonging to a community.
The fear of missing out, FOMO, smartphone dependence, and information overload have become constant mental challenges. From a biological perspective, Harari argues that our happiness is not a result of objective external conditions, but a product of an internal biochemical system. Our brains regulate happiness levels through hormones and neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. External events can trigger these reactions, but we typically return to a personal, biological set point. If this is true, then whether we live in a palace or a humble hut, our basic level of happiness might not change significantly. So is there a way to escape the trap of progress that doesn't equate to happiness? Some ancient philosophies like Buddhism have offered profound insights. Buddhism suggests that the cause of suffering is not objective events, but our attachment to desires and clinging. By understanding and letting go of desires, humans can achieve a state of nirvana, a form of happiness that transcends the changes of external circumstances. Conversely, consumerism and modern ideologies often encourage us to pursue happiness through material accumulation and fleeting experiences. You're not happy because you haven't bought the latest phone, or you're not happy because you haven't traveled to this destination. This message creates an endless loop of desire and dissatisfaction. We are taught that happiness is something to be sought, bought, or achieved through external accomplishments. Furthermore, the definition of happiness is highly subjective. For some, happiness is safety and stability. For others, it's freedom and adventure. Some find happiness in love and relationships, while others find it in meaningful work or creativity. Modern society, with its diversity and complexity, might offer more paths to pursue happiness, but can also make choices more difficult, leading to confusion and bewilderment. Expectations also play a crucial role. Hunter-gatherer ancestors probably didn't have high expectations for a life full of conveniences or a brilliant career. Their happiness might have come from simple things, like a good meal after a successful hunt, or a peaceful night around a campfire with family. Conversely, we today are nurtured with ideals of perfection, a dream job, a happy family, a big house, lavish travels, and when reality doesn't meet those expectations, we easily feel disappointed and dissatisfied. It's worth noting that the increase in humanity's collective power does not equate to an increase in individual happiness. We have the ability to control the environment, cure diseases, and create unprecedented technological wonders. However, these capabilities are often used to serve larger societal goals, such as economic growth, imperial expansion, or national defense, without necessarily considering the subjective experience of each individual. Harari emphasizes that large systems often prioritize stability, productivity, and power over the happiness of the individuals who comprise them. So what is the final answer? Are humans truly happier than before? Perhaps this question has no single clear answer. Objectively, we certainly have a much safer, healthier, and more convenient life than our ancient ancestors. We no longer have to worry about being eaten by saber-toothed tigers every night or dying from a simple infection. These advancements are undeniable and have eliminated many forms of physical suffering. However, subjectively, our feeling of happiness is another matter. We may have traded physical suffering for new mental pressures, anxiety, depression, loneliness, incessant comparison, and feelings of inadequacy. Modern life demands us to constantly compete, adapt, and strive. Our connection to nature and community has weakened, and we are constantly distracted by countless information and choices. It can be said that we have achieved progress in terms of material wealth and power, but that progress has not led to a corresponding increase in individual happiness. Happiness is not a straight line moving upward in parallel with technological or economic development. It is much more complex, intertwined with intrinsic factors, with meaning, purpose in life, and the ability to connect deeply with oneself and the surrounding world. What's important is not whether we have more or less than our ancestors, but how we define, seek, and nurture happiness within the specific context of our own era. Happiness perhaps does not lie in material wealth or absolute convenience, but in balance, in the ability to find contentment in small things, in accepting the limitations of oneself and the environment, and in building meaningful relationships. It is a continuous process of discovery and adjustment, rather than a fixed state that can be achieved once and for all. In the current context, as AI and biological technologies promise the ability to re-engineer human happiness, the question of what true happiness means becomes even more urgent. Should we biochemically engineer ourselves to always feel joy, or would that strip away the meaning of striving, of the multifaceted emotions that make us human? These are the questions our generation faces, and the answers will shape the future of human happiness. This journey exploring the meaning of happiness and its evolution through the ages has led us to deep reflections on the true value of life. Does material development equate to spiritual contentment? And as we stand at the threshold of the future, with technological breakthroughs promising to completely change the nature of humanity, how will the concept of happiness be redefined? This is just a small part of the grand picture of humanity and the cosmos. In our next video, we will step into a completely different world, a topic full of surprises that will make you rethink everything. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the exciting journey ahead.